Senior high school is probably one of the tough stages of a student's life. Examinations, quizzes, researches, and performance tasks could literally drain them physically and mentally. Nevertheless, some learners choose to study diligently to meet the expectations of the people around them. Some work hard to make their parents proud, and others persevere to prove themselves that they are capable of achieving great things. Whatever the reasons are, our school believes that every endeavor or effort exerted by a student is worth to be recognized. A pleasant day to everyone, and welcome to the Senior High School Recognition Day of Candon National High School with the theme Sulong Edukalidad, Championing the Nation's Future. Parents have been the solid partner of our school in nurturing and molding our students to become better persons. They have been there for many years, supporting not only their children, but the school itself. So to show the gratitude of the whole CNHS family and to give due recognition to our loyal parents, here is Mr. Eric Nelmecos, a senior high school teacher.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the grade 12 loyal parents for school year 2019-2020. From grade 12 ABM Rizal, Mr. Roger Gallardo Sr., Mr. Ernesto and Mrs. Josefina Papi, Mr. Juanito and Mrs. Nancy Manzano, Mr. Warlito Jr. and Mrs. Bain Molina, Mrs. Daisy Montecalvo, Mr. Cipriano and Mrs. Catherine Orpilia, Mr. Bernardo and Mrs. Juliana Rigor, Mr. Manolo and Mrs. Nelia Rosendo, Mr. Pablito and Mrs. Divina Rubang, Mr. Zosimo and Mrs. Yolanda Valdez, Mrs. Esther Viado. From grade 12 ABM Bonifacio, Mr. Rodrigo and Mrs. Clarita Ganzobin, Mr. Sixto and Mrs. Vilma Galinato, Mr. William and Mrs. Gloria Divina Servilio, Mr. Roberto and Mrs. Marivic Martinez. From grade 12 ABM Mabini, Mr. Primitivo Jr. and Mrs. Belinda Garnase, Mr. Philip and Mrs. Catherine Havate, Mr. Romeo and Mrs. Imelda Langiden, Miss Teresita Langiden, Mr. Eduardo and Mrs. Erlinda Servilio, Mr. Richard and Mrs. Jessica Resurrection, Mr. Joel and Mrs. Rosalyn Cordova, Mr. Reynante and Mrs. Rosemary Gauran, Mr. Jeffrey and Mrs. Veronica Adona, Mrs. Daisy Montecalvo, Mr. Raimundo and Mrs. Leonora Reyes, Mr. Patricio and Mrs. Josie Gasilan, Mrs. Mercedes Kaalim, Mr. Victor and Mrs. Rowena Galieto. From grade 12 Yums Gomez, Mr. Mario and Mrs. Rosie Gasalao, Mr. Modesto and Mrs. Belinda Gapatan, Mr. Renato and Mrs. Gina Ganat, Mr. Donato and Mrs. Rowena Gamoso. From grade 12 Yums Burgos, Miss Belia Belio, Mr. Angelito and Mrs. Maribeth Choi Awen, Mr. Michael Ryan and Mrs. Gina Aspiliaga, Mr. Reynaldo Jr. and Mrs. Celia Galay, Mr. Noniboy and Mrs. Marites Manzano, Mr. Ephraim and Mrs. Marilu Ramos, Mr. Jerry and Mrs. Jovelyn Velarde. From grade 12 Yum Zamora, Mr. Vicente Manuel and Mrs. Zenaida Valdez, Mr. Dante Obamen and Mrs. Annabel Garlejo, Mr. Edward and Mrs. Nora Elena Inigo, Mr. Richard and Mrs. Imelda Bitantes, Mr. Wilson and Mrs. Heidi Galimba, Mr. Florencio Jr. and Mrs. Edita Madrid, Mr. Ricardo and Mrs. Jeanette Marquez. From grade 12 STEM Del Pilar, Mr. Ray Edward and Mrs. Vilma Maria Gamoso, Mr. Roberto and Mrs. Liuliwa Novida, Mr. Edgar and Mrs. Lorena Valdez, Mr. Charito and Mrs. Tessie Lechica, Mr. Sandro and Mrs. Rowena Orais. From grade 12 STEM Luna, Mr. Simeon and Mrs. Emelita Danglapen, Mr. Domingo and Mrs. Janet Casen, Mr. Jaime Jr. and Mrs. Cheryl Ramilo, Mr. Alexander and Mrs. Mary Jane Galicia, Mr. Edgar and Mrs. Lorna Mecos, Mr. Florante and Mrs. Lynn Diga, Mr. Romeo and Mrs. Nancy Naungayan, Mr. Donald and Mrs. Olivia Abalos, Mr. Gerardo and Mrs. Lily Gabaon. From grade 12 ICT Silang, Mr. Mariano and Mrs. Veronica Galanot, Mr. Emiliano and Mrs. Mirna Galigaro, Mr. Arlan and Mrs. Evelyn Mecos, Mr. Ronnie and Mrs. Alidana Ramos, Mr. Dominador and Mrs. Elizabeth Rodriguez, Mr. Venancio and Mrs. Helen Soriano.
When you dream of something great and find the will to fulfill it, you will definitely attain it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you the grade 11 awardees. Starting with the Accountancy, Business, and Management strand. Grade 11, Matapat. Dan Kenji Dagsi, with honors. Rika Joyce Puño, with honors. Angelica Rodriguez, with honors. Johnny Den Elsha Segundo, with honors. Grade 11, Mabait. Rainiel G. Galay, with honors. Reynan Angelo F. Gatchalian, with honors. Liel Genesis A. Rodriguez, with honors. Clarissa B. Fontanilla, with honors. Hanife E. Peñaloza, with honors. Lian V. Rabaya with honors. Angeline F. Teodoro with honors. Grade 11, Masino. John Steven D. Aglubat with honors, conduct awardee. Mark Denver R. Azur with honors, conduct awardee. Reja B. Galien with honors, conduct awardee. Lance Lee G. Razon with honors, conduct awardee. Christine Joyce M. Batin with honors, conduct awardee. Arlene T. Colong with honors, conduct awardee. Daniela G. Cortez with honors, conduct awardee. Cassandra F. Galope with honors, conduct awardee. Cristel G. Lozano with honors, conduct awardee. Rochelle Maxine V. Morales with honors, conduct awardee. Karen G. Raganda with honors, conduct awardee. Christian Jade A. Gallardo, conduct awardee. April Kate P. Alava, conduct awardee. Larissa G. Castro, conduct awardee. Jelly May A. De La Cruz, conduct awardee. Jeline U. Doroño, conduct awardee. Leslie Joy T. Escobar, conduct awardee. Kim Gladimay R. Gabel, conduct awardee. Girly G. Gadiano, conduct awardee. Joyce R. Gagarin, conduct awardee. Mylene T. Gagarin, conduct awardee. Laika May R. Gamoso, conduct awardee. Jasmine Joy P. Likite, conduct awardee. Cheryl Moana Marie G. Lianes, conduct awardee. Ashley May D. Manzano, conduct awardee. Kat G. Ali B. Manzano, conduct awardee. Kimberly Ann N. Manzano, conduct awardee. Rochelle Maxine V. Morales, conduct awardee. Karil Dimple P. Novida, conduct awardee. Hania S. Pasandalan, conduct awardee. Jessa V. Pasqua, conduct awardee. Janice Ann A. Ramos, conduct awardee. Alaika May J. Reyes, conduct awardee. Daniela V. Salako, conduct awardee. Shireen A. Urayani, conduct awardee. Diana Rose G. Valdez, conduct awardee. Madeline T. Valdez, conduct awardee. Humanities and Social Sciences. Grade 11, Makatao. Emmanuel F. Arde, with honors. Ray Andre S. Reynante, with honors, conduct awardee. Jake P. Valdez, with honors, conduct awardee. Mildred Faye B. Blance, with honors. Yesha Cassandra Y. Eroy, with honors, conduct awardee. Charmaine Joy G. Gamilde, with honors. Ella Shane R. Paglinawan, with honors. Rosemary T. Ramos, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Christian Leonard M. Gawat, Conduct Awardee. Jerson G. Capo, Conduct Awardee. Romulo R. Velasco Jr., Conduct Awardee. Grade 11, Makabayan. Kenneth Cordova, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Jericho G. Pasqua, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Lorraine Isabel C. Galimba, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Yvonne Claire F. Gamata, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Recame J. Raiz, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Jillian Faith B. Timbangkaya, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Quinel Anjoy O. Udarbe, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Jed Gabriel E. Corpus, Conduct Awardee. Smith B. Felix, Conduct Awardee. Benjil G. Lopez, Conduct Awardee. Arvin T. Makabata, Conduct Awardee. Jomar V. Obongen Jr., Conduct Awardee. Alinor S. Sultan, Conduct Awardee. Leon Wayne P. Espanto, Conduct Awardee. Caleb G. Galaw, Conduct Awardee. Rochelle G. Valdez, Conduct Awardee. Grade 11, Makakalikasan. Michael B. Dangalan, with high honors, Conduct Awardee. Geoffrey N. Valdez Jr., with honors, Conduct Awardee. Christine Joy C. Galanote, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Bea Kayla C. Urbano, with honors. Rimuel G. Viernes, Conduct Awardee. Jamaica May T. Cortel, Conduct Awardee. Patricia Kim G. Gagarin, Conduct Awardee. Stephanie G. Galicia, Conduct Awardee. Nicole Andrea R. Ganat, Conduct Awardee. Roslyn C. Grapiza, Conduct Awardee. Jomalyn R. Paras, Conduct Awardee. Katrina S. Rapada, Conduct Awardee. Keisha Ann V. Rodriguez, Conduct Awardee. Grade 11, Makajos. Daniel Mark J. Barbosa, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Giancarlo R. Gagarin, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Crystal Jane G. Galima, with honors, Conduct Awardee. Gian Jade R. Garnase, with honors. Wilmark G. Kawili, Conduct Awardee. AJ C. Sonson, Conduct Awardee. Mark Jared A. Galima, Conduct Awardee. Christine Joy B. Gambala, Conduct Awardee. Ira May L. Dry, Conduct Awardee. Isnaira C. Sandab, Conduct Awardee. Diana Grace G. Valencia, Conduct Awardee. Rosemary G. Villaplana, Conduct Awardee. Grade 11, Makabansa. Luis Mario O. Adolfo, with honors. Angelo P. Herada, with honors. Carl Michael B. Velarde, with honors. Arlene G. Gasmen, with honors. Christine V. Kiabang, with honors. Iñaki Arpilia, Conduct Awardee. Edfel Jane R. Dakig, Conduct Awardee. Rhea G. Garcia, Conduct Awardee. Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. Grade 11, Mapagmahal. Jericho B. Amgao, with honors. Nicodeo M. Cabaya, with honors. Maverick C. Kadongonan, with honors. Jasper A. Decano, with honors. Dale Jerome A. Gamboa, with honors. Kyle Christian A. Inigo, with honors. Luther A. Molina, with honors. Jeffrey N. Pagaduan, with honors. Charles Andy J. Piamonte, with honors. Adrian Jacob D. Odayan, with honors. Elizer P. Villanueva Jr., with honors. Jenny A. Aranaido, with honors. Rayalyn L. Arce, with honors. Lovely Joanna N. Ayad, with honors. Maria Corazon B. Bagsangi, with honors. Angeline E. Eboho, with honors. Luis Angeline E. Etrata, with honors. Maeve L. Fabros, with honors. Ariel Joy G. Gakusan, with honors. Maria Camila B. Gallardo, with honors. Maria Eliza A. Galvez, with honors. Jelly April C. Gamilde, with honors. Nathalie Joyce C. Habungan, with honors. Angela G. Tilad, with honors. Giselle D. Turalba, with honors. Katrina Joy R. Tuzon, with honors. Jemuel D. Bauingan, Conduct Awardee. John Lloyd F. Gagto, Conduct Awardee. Loeline Daryl G. Tanada, Conduct Awardee. Rochelle G. Albiento, Conduct Awardee. Eden S. Galope, Conduct Awardee. April Rose H. Gargabite, Conduct Awardee. Mary Joy E. De Guzman, Conduct Awardee. Binary Choice D. Uyahan with honors, Conduct Awardee. Harold G. Ramos with honors, Conduct Awardee. Gideon Clyde M. Espacio with honors. Edric Joed E. Rosito with honors. Catherine Ray C. Galimba with honors. Althea C. Garima with honors, Conduct Awardee. Adrian Rafael R. Carino with honors. Jeruel R. Fernando with honors. Irene Rishan C. Antalan with honors, Conduct Awardee. Angeline V. Vides with honors. Maria Paula P. Del Rosario with honors, Conduct Awardee. Sheena May G. Halyurina with honors, Conduct Awardee. Bridal May E. Pascual with honors. Jessa S. Quinones with honors. Krista Soria with honors. Liza Faye E. Umanos with honors. Giancarlo G. Lativico, Conduct Awardee. Ruben I. Reyes, Conduct Awardee. Rodaline B. Olara, Conduct Awardee. Safari P. Dalingas, Conduct Awardee. Information and Communications Technology. Grade 11, Masipa. Rod Alvin I. Pudyaman with honors. Congratulations to all grade 11 awardees. Keep on shining and continue chasing your dreams. And to conclude this ceremony, let us show our loyalty and respect to our school by singing the Candon National High School hymn.